Today's story is Sleeping Beauty. And we learn English through the stories. Let's begin. Sleeping Beauty by Charles Perrault. Long ago, in a distant kingdom, a king and queen, overjoyed, finally welcomed a daughter, Princess Aurora. The king and queen asked 7 fairies to be her godmothers. Each one granted the little princess a gift. The princess received beauty, grace, kindness, sensitivity, and the ability to sing and play every musical instrument. "The princess will be perfect," exclaimed one of the fairies. "But where is Mirabelle, our sister?" asked another. "She's always late, even on the day of a princess's christening." But instead of Mirabelle, Maleficent appeared, an old fairy no one had invited. Maleficent had a bad temper and preferred to cast spells rather than do good deeds. "Your Majesties," she said, "although I was not invited, I wish to bestow a gift upon the princess. Forgive our unforgivable oversight." The king interrupted, trying to calm his wife. A shiver ran through the room. With a terrible smile, the evil fairy leaned over the cradle. With a trembling voice, she said, "Before she turns 18 years old, Princess Aurora will prick her finger on a spindle, and she will die." Sobbing, the queen threw herself into the king's arms. But then Mirabelle arrived, the 7th fairy. She was about to bestow her gift upon the little princess, and she said in a firm voice, "Do not worry, my king and my queen. Although it is true that I have no power to undo this curse, I can soften it. The princess will not die. She will fall into a deep sleep that will last 100 years. Only a brave prince will be able to awaken her." The king wanted to prevent the misfortune at all costs. He ordered all the spindles to be burned. Large bonfires were lit throughout the kingdom. The inhabitants threw their spindles into the fire, aware of the danger. The years went by. Aurora possessed all the qualities the fairies had given her. She would soon turn 18. One day, while she was playing, she heard a voice calling her, "Aurora, Aurora, come here." "Who are you, and what do you have in your hands?" asked the young woman, intrigued. "It's used to spin wool. Would you like to try?" the old woman suggested. As soon as she picked up the spindle, she pricked her finger and fell into a deep sleep. Maleficent, the merciless fairy, for it was her, laughed wickedly. "Sleep peacefully, my child. You have 100 years to rest." The king and queen, deeply saddened, ordered the princess to be taken to her bed. Then Mirabelle appeared, the 7th fairy. She thought of the helplessness of Aurora when she awoke alone, without family, without friends, after 100 years. That is why she plunged all the inhabitants of the castle, humans and animals alike, into the same sleep. Then Mirabelle caused briars, rose bushes, and thorns to grow all around the castle, so dense that no one could pass through them. 100 long years passed. A prince heard the legend, a mysterious castle where a beautiful young woman slept. The people of the kingdom called it the Castle of the Sleeping Beauty. The prince decided to go and see what was happening. When he was arriving at the castle, the briars suddenly parted. The prince entered the great hall. He was astonished. The queen, the king, the children, the men, the women, the animals, everyone seemed dead. However, seeing the color of their faces, he realized they were only asleep for a whole century. The ladies and nobles, the pages and maids, everyone was plunged into the same deep sleep. At last, the prince pushed open the door to a magnificent bedroom. There, he discovered the most beautiful young woman he had ever seen, Princess Aurora. He approached the bed and gazed at her in wonder. Then he knelt beside her and took her hand. The princess opened her eyes and smiled at him. "Are you my prince?" she said. "How long you have taken." The spell vanished in that very instant. Throughout the castle, everyone awoke from their long sleep. The briars disappeared, and the forest regained its usual appearance. In the kitchen, the fires were lit, and a great feast was prepared to celebrate the princess's awakening. That very same night, the wedding was celebrated between the prince and the princess. They lived very happily and had 2 children, a boy they named Day and a little girl, Aurora, and they lived happily ever after in love and harmony till the end of their days. The end.